谢谢苏基刚刚的这个非常精彩的分享啊，给我们介绍了一下一直以来的从上世纪一直到现在的一段历史。然后我们数字劳动联盟到底是为了什么？那如果大家有什么问题的话，可以等一下在我们的 Q&A 里面提出来，然后我们会在一个统一的 Q&A session 里面给大家来做解答。那我们接下来要介绍下一位演讲嘉宾我们下一位请到的是 Pinko 高重建，他是 LikeCoin 的创始人，然后他也是另外一个组织叫做 Decentralized HK 的一个创始人。他也是一个大家不知道啊，就是一个叫做 Creative Commons 知识分享或者说反正这么一个非营利性组织的一个成员。他的这个组织呢是想要促进数字作品的这些分享，开源的这种分享。那他是香港中文大学计算机工程学士，然后辅修了社会学，他也是信息科技管理的硕士。他信奉着人文为体，科技为用。那他也是一本非常著名的一本书的作者，叫做《区块链社会学》。我这边我不知道我该怎么更好的来介绍他，那我想引用一段区块链社会学里面的一段话来给大家做引子吧，把它引出来。他说：“对于传统记者，笔锋就是利剑；对于科网巨头，数据就是石油；对于手无寸铁的公民，科技就是武器。你大可以不进攻，但绝不能不防守。社会体制就像技术上的通讯协议，一层依赖下一层，处于底层其实才是最难以被撼动的，是货币。我们自以为全面否定体制，事实上我们每天都在依赖体制最基础的组成元素，甚至守护它。”我觉得这可能够很好的来概括他为什么要做 LikeCoin 这么一个去中心化出版的这么一个区块链的公链。那下面呢，邀请这个高重建来为我们做他的分享。LikeCoin 一个去中心化的出版系统，一个出版基建。对的。
非常感谢你的介绍我都非常意外，你不但看了，还会用里面的一些话来介绍我。
我得修正一下，这本书肯定没有非常出名。我刚才听书记的演讲也非常意外，因为刚好在最后的一张 slide 说到道，也就是我最想今天跟大家分享的一个元素。我可能会稍微调整一下，因为刚刚才知道书记会这样去玩，我就这样去接好了。然后我演讲呢，我是用英语，因为我听说有一些外宾，然后我是演讲用英语。可是待会如果大家有什么问题想要发问或者分享的话，用中文我就也可以。那so this is Kinko 忘了说，抱歉，我的好像显得很神秘的样子，因为我现在在隔离中，我得隔离14天，现在在一个露台里面没有灯，我不是特意显得那么神秘的样子。So this is Kin, founder of LikeCoin, which is a decentralized publishing infrastructure, and so I guess most of you would know that these days the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum is skyrocketing, and also some other tokens. So mostly because of the DeFi, decentralized finance, getting more and more popular. And actually, these days, decentralized finance has almost become another name of blockchain. So some people may think blockchain is only mostly for decentralized finance services. But in fact, while the world has been busy providing decentralized finance services, LikeCoin has been focusing on the other hand, on the right side of the slide, which is decentralization of content, providing services surrounding decentralized publishing, or what we call DPOP for short. So what exactly is DPOP? I would categorize them into three major services, namely a decentralized registry, which is the core of DPOP. And the second is decentralized reward. And last but not least, decentralized governance. So below, I would dive into them one by one, starting with decentralized registry. So excuse this shameless advertisement of my own book, which is The Sociology of Blockchain, which was just mentioned in my introduction. So what I'm actually not intended to sell my book, but to discuss that in order to publish a book, as you know, you have to get an ISBN, International Standard Book Number, from a centralized body, probably from the government, depending on your country. It may be from some kind of departments, but anyway, it's a centralized body. And because, say, for example, I couldn't get an ISBN for my own book, that's why I couldn't have the book published in China. So this is centralized publishing. So to do decentralized registry, drafted a specification, which we called ISCN, International Standard Content Number. So for those of you who have a certain age like me, when you go to a public library to search for books, that's before everything is digitalized, the days before everything is digitalized. You are using drawers like this to find books. And say when every court will send a book. When you find the book, you find the name of the book written on the card. Also the publisher, the author, and other metadatas. One of which is probably the most important, is where exactly to find the book. Where's the book? Which bookshelf is the book in the library? So this is so ISCN is something very similar to this, but in a digital form and live in blockchain. So ISCN is an open standard. We created a website which is on iscn.io to detail the standard. And if you are interested, you can check out the standard and even provide your opinion, and we may update the standards accordingly on GitHub. So it's an open specification, and one of the implementation is done by Likecoin, but I expect other bodies can also implement their own version of ISCN. The other aspect, so ISCN, as I just mentioned, is to store the content metadata, but the content itself is stored somewhere else, which is on IPFS. So this is matters. Some of you, I'm not sure how many of you have heard of this. Maybe some of you do, some of you don't. So for those who don't know, especially not from China, you can imagine this is like the Chinese version of medium.com. But although I would argue that in many aspects, this is actually better than medium.com. So in the screen capture, it's listed my profile. So this is the articles that I post on Matters. One of the article, when I click on it, you can see the fingerprint of the article. So one of the special feature of Matters is that they automatically upload the article users post to IPFS, so that it's not just hosted on matters.news, but also distributed to the decentralized web. Technically speaking, is IPFS. And as you may be it is a bit slow. It's a bit small, but if you check out the screen capture, you can see the different URLs of the different public nodes. Although they are different URL, the last hash, the last fingerprint are all not the same. Q, M, E, T, M, something. So they're all this. All of them are the same, pointing to the same article. You can fetch the article from any of these public nodes instead of just from the one single server. So that's decentralized web. So zoom out a little bit. So just now I mentioned ISSN, International Standard Content Number, and IPFS, which is Interplanetary File System. So ISCN is for storing the content metadata. It is a unique key representing the content. Other than being a unique key, it also contains the content metadata, such as author, if it's an image, maybe the geodata, the dates of publishing, and most importantly, also the copyright of the content, and most importantly, the hash of the content, which if you don't know technology, you can imagine the hash being the fingerprint of the content. And for our own implementation, the ISCN is stored on LikeCoin chain to provide immutability. While because of the nature of blockchain and the technical implementation is too big, the content itself is not stored directly on blockchain, but in IPFS. So IPFS is, as I just mentioned, it's a decentralized storage. It provides peer-to-peer distribution. If you haven't heard of IPFS, you can simply assume it is an upgrade of BitTorrent, 迅雷. So it's peer-to-peer distributed. When you will certain content, you are at the same time helping to distribute the content. And most importantly, the core R&D of LikeCoin is doing is actually an IPFS plugin which connects the two tiers, the ISCN tier and the IPFS tier, so that people can query the ISCN data directly on IPFS network. So that's decentralized registry. So to conclude, decentralized registry, why is it important? Because why is it important and how is it different from the current, the existing archive solution? Because it provides immutable content metadata. Once you write the content on the system, on the infrastructure, it cannot be erased. It provides peer-to-peer content distribution, making censorship very difficult. And last but not least, it's mathematically proven to be, the content integrity is mathematically proven, which means, say, for example, I'm a civic journalist and I'm in the scene of a certain social event. I take a picture and upload it to the infrastructure. So not only is the image metadata immutable, the image is also peer-to-peer distributed. And even if you retrieve the image a few days, a few years, or even a few decades later, you can mathematically be sure that the image is not even by a pixel. That's what I mean by integrity proven. So if you're a fan of Game of Thrones like me, I can actually explain the importance of distributed registry pretty easily. So decentralization of decentralized registry is like decentralizing breadstuff in the drama. So if we have a lot of breadstock, so we wouldn't have to worry about liking, killing breadstock and as a result erasing the whole human history. So that's what why decentralized registry is extremely important. So the next is decentralized reward, which I will spend next time to talk about because I want to reserve more time for the third part, which is decentralized governance. So because the development of distributed decentralized registry takes time, decentralized reward is actually first launched in the LikeCoin ecosystem. It's been used for 2 years. So we have a LikeCoin button, which is very similar to the like button of Facebook with a major difference. Because on Facebook, when you click the like, you're essentially telling Facebook that, please give me more advertisement on this. But it means nothing else. While on the LikeCoin infrastructure, every like means a reward. And we are also, we've been promoting a social movement called Civic Liker to encourage readers to sponsor $5 about 30 RMB per month. And as you click, the monthly sponsor will be distributed around on average to the articles that you click, making micropayment extremely easy. So we made a plugin on WordPress. Meanwhile, there are 1,400 websites using, one of which is the website of our event. Thank you for that. Not only is it supported on WordPress, it's only supported on other platforms such as Medium and Matters that I mentioned, and various civic medias mostly in Hong Kong and in Taiwan, some of them in China and some other countries. So this here I have a 2-minute video to explain what decentralized rewards are.
Hello， 我是大家常见的赞按钮，我是改良版的赞赏键。根据统计，每分钟我会被点击400万次哦。哦，好棒棒！就是说，创作有很多人喜欢，得到很多赞，那可以拿去买咖啡吗？有赞就够了吧？还想怎么样啊？嘿，你说到重点了，你的赞是赞好，而我的是赞赏，有赞有赏。除了表达有多喜欢这个作品。
Sorry that there's something wrong with the sound, but I hope you can still get the idea. So because not every content creator is technical, and blockchain may seem very complicated to them. So we've developed an application, a mobile app called LikeCoin, so that creators and also readers can download and join the ecosystem. Unfortunately, it's not available in China. So this is some screen capture of the app so that you can get a feel of it. So if you are a content creator, you can see how much you get per day, how much Likecoin you are getting from which article you write. If you're a reader, if you're a civic liker, you can check out to where did your monthly sponsorship goes. So the last, but probably the most important part I would like to share is actually the decentralized governance. So I didn't deep dive into the technical portion, but Likecoin, it's in itself, technically speaking, is a public blockchain. Unlike many other public blockchain, Likecoin is specialized in content publishing. It's based on Cosmos SDK, and other than being a blockchain, it's also a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. It was launched slightly more than a year. It's November last year. It's 1 year and 2 weeks. So we usually call our community the Republic of LikeCoin, or LikeCoin for short. So LikeCoin is like the European Union of civic media. As you all know, in European Union, every country maintains their own sovereignty. So they are a sovereign country. But for very important issues, very fundamental and important issues, such as currency, so they have they come together to get consensus. So they have euro, and also some other important policies such as GDPR and things like that. So LikeCoin is pretty similar to that, but in the context of civic media. So right now we have roughly 1,400 civic media in the Union, with 88,000 likers, which is like citizens in the Republic, and there are 300-some thousand contents, rewarded contents, and were rewarded 38 million Likecoin in the past 2 years. So the chain was launched a year ago with some Genesis validators below, some of which maybe you have heard of, such as Taiwan Fact Check Center. And then some university, such as Taipei Technology University, and also some other civic medias, mostly in Hong Kong and Taiwan. That was 1 year ago. And after that, some other, because it's permissionless, anyone can join as validators. So as time goes by, until now, there are 21 validators in this public blockchain. So in the ecosystem, we run a system called liquid democracy. Liquid democracy is probably not heard by everyone, but I'm sure everyone knows representative democracy. Liquid democracy is something quite similar to representative democracy, but with two major improvements. One, in liquid democracy, you can vote for not only one, but even two or even more of representative to represent you. Every individual, every stakeholders are given a certain number of voting token. Say, for example, you have 100 tokens for each stakeholders. You can delegate your token to your representative. Say, if I pick one representative, I would delegate all 100 of the of my voting token to one single representative. Or I can also split my 100 token into two and have it dedicated to two of them so that I have two representatives. But of course, if you dedicate to more representative, it also means the voting power of the representative you pick would be lowered. The voting power of a representative is in proportion to the voting token that they are delegated. So the slide here outlines it's like a constitution. So how proposals can be raised by someone, and then the procedure of which under which a proposal will be deposited by enough people to enter voting period. And if in the voting period, more than 50% of the validators of the voting power voted yes, it would be executed and turned into the actual policy of the republic. It's public kind of weight. So I would take, I would raise two examples here. One is in the past year, we have 5 proposals raised in the Republic and have passed it. The latest one being Proposal 5, which is to increase the inflation rate of Likecoin to 2%. So it's actually very simple, but it's actually very revolutionary as well, because it's hard to imagine that the inflation rates of country, even the most democratic country, can be changed by raising a proposal by the citizens. So this is a proposal raised by one of the validator and get all yes voted. And even more interesting than that is the previous proposal.